to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Total protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal.
Protonic reversal with your host, Conan Neutron. Broadcasting from a secret underground lair in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
A gigantic middle finger to everything that is rotten about music, rock and roll, and corporate power.
Thing is, though, if you don't laugh, you're going to go on a killing spree with sharpened nails.
Confidence of a hero or a fool. I wasn't exactly certain which.
Could not be more professional.
It's only one I choose to go my life to. That's okay.
It means something. It means something.
And take that away.
You know, that's my take on it. What's yours?
Protonic reversal.
That's like a signing, right?
Indeed it is. It's a science thing. It's a science place. It's a scientific fact. We're all up in your face this time once again for the one, the only Protonic reversal. Welcome to it, and additionally, welcome to it. Just came in from Louisville. Boy, is my voice tired. This episode, Protonic reversal, episode 306. Toshi Kasai is coming back on. Very excited to have him. He's dropped a fantastic new record, and he's one of my favorites, and I think he's swell, and I'm very excited to have this talk with him about this record and all the other records and all the other various sundry things that this wonderful man has done. So we're going to get into that shortly. Before we get too into it, welcome to Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. I am your host, Conan Neutron. I'm a rock and roll lifer who has toured and recorded for over 22 years, most known for the band Conan Neutron, The Secret Friends. Music is a huge part of my life, and I use the format of this long-running podcast to talk about music with musicians whose work I enjoy and respect. Folks that may or may not be household names, but do something very special. This is episode 306. If this is your first time listening to the show, all the archives are at protonicreversal.com and are always free. No ads, no sponsors, no kidding. If you'd like to support the show and get episodes sooner, you can give $1 a month to patreon.com/protonicreversal. And if you like the show, or even just a single episode, please feel free to share it along, like, subscribe, or post a review. All that helps people find the show, and it's just a darn nice thing to do. All right. And furthermore, all right, let's get right down to it. It's been a while. Toshi Kasai, how are you? You're bringing big mime work back into the business, and I appreciate that about you.
Yeah. It's hip.
It's good. Yeah, it's going to be. Hear what millennials do these days? It's mime. Who knew? Nobody predicted it. Nobody had that on their bingo card.
Really?
Toshi, welcome, man. So good to have you.
Thanks for having me. Third time.
It has been a while, man. And I was listening to the latest record just earlier, and I was blown away by, well, first of all, how uniquely you it is. But it's a great listen. So we're talking about based on true stories. I characterize it as kind of right down the line for like John Fahey and like Tom Waits almost, which some people may not agree with, but I think that it's, if you only know the heavy bands that Toshi Kasai has produced, you might be thinking of something else entirely, but it's a really beautiful record. It's very bossa nova at times, you know, it's interesting. When did you make this? And can you tell me how you decided to make a record like this?
The second song and the third song, I wrote in 2003. And I just, I put on the MySpace and stuff, and then I just don't want to waste it, And then I kind of like the vibe. That's a time. I mean, since I was a kid, I'm really into acoustic music, but I don't want to write, song like James Taylor or something, or
Right. Exactly.
country music, just typical one, So there's a people who does that. So I don't need to follow, I'm not making. I love playing those stuff. Doc Watson and those people are one of my favorite. So, but I don't need to follow them, just because I influenced. But I like so many different music. That's why I produce bands. I don't do only heavy music. I do pop music, and then sometimes acoustic music, and then that time I didn't have. I mean, I worked at the studio, so I didn't have my studio. So, and then what I can do is just record the smaller stuff, and I start doing that. I don't want to say it's a home recording or anything like that, but some stuff, I recorded at home. Kind of, but again, I didn't want to make acoustic album. So, and then that time I was really into a circuit bending, and then start, tweaking the knobs, and then some stuff came out. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then why don't I play guitar over? So, and then that's the third song. What's its title? Lines Over Misery. I wrote it 2003, and then I just jam. I didn't have a band. I'm very, very lonely guy. So, that's way before I joined the big business.
Wow. So that's that goes that far back then. Okay.
Yeah. And then I wanted to finish, and I really liked the vibe. It's kind of happened accidentally, and then, I like the unique combination of instruments. So.
Yeah, and I think anyone that's ever worked with you in the studio knows that you're prone to picking up the guitar and knocking off some riffs now and again, but it's something you have an aptitude for. But then also anyone that's heard Plan D knows that you're certainly not a experimentaverse, because I don't think there's any record quite like that, frankly.
That's what Matt Cameron said.
He's right. Tell him I said so.
Yeah. That one is another accident too. I didn't plan, but I was listening. It's in a YouTube video. I explained to it. I was listening to the DAT, DAT tape.
Yeah.
A while ago, and then right after I worked with the Melvins, and then there's a drum take. I just recorded for just the sound, make sure. And then, this is cool. They'll play something like play drums play melody by the drums,
Yeah.
Bum, ba, 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 bum, bum, ba, ba, bum, 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 So, that might be interesting if I add something, then it's going to be hard to play guitar. You put the click, between and stuff, or you just remember. But I know that the synthesizer has things called a step sequence, and then why I can put the each drum here, and line up. So, and then I wrote one song around the same time, 2003, 2004, and I started recording. I asked Dale, Troy Ziegler, and Paul Christiansen, those guys, great drummers. I'm lucky to have those people. So just call them. Hey, I want to record something.
Yeah, you could do worse. Yeah.
Yeah. I take advantage of being in Los Angeles. It's full of great musicians. People end up here or New York, or it doesn't matter. Sometimes, big city or small city, but I think LA has, to me, it's most musicians I want to work with. Nashville has. That doesn't mean I don't want to work with them. They just totally different spot. Actually, one person from Nashville played on the album too.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
On the Plan D, you're talking about Plan D now. We're talking
Plan D, yeah. She's a Nashville-based. Angela Lees. She's a great drummer, and then I know her for a while. And she happened to be here for some kind of NAMM show or something. She was visiting, or maybe she was in the band. I forgot, but she was in LA. And then, hey, Tosh, I'm in town. Why don't you catch up? And then just, hey, give me 20 minutes. I want to record drums with you.
Yeah. And then, why not? You already set up to do it, right? So,
yeah.
Easy enough.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of getting bigger and bigger. I had a vision. I had a dream. A lot of people use the two drummers, but they play at the same time. But I wanted to play A section by one drummer and the B section by another drummer, and then third section by. I did it in one song on the very last EP, which is going to release digitally this December.
Nice.
Matt Cameron started playing, and the middle part is Dave Lombardo, and then the last part is John Tempesta. I hope I pronounced their name right.
So, all right. So compositionally, you're using these very different drummers.
Yeah.
Within the song, almost as if they themselves and their playing is another instrument or another arrangement or something. You're not doing it where it's a doubled up. It's a different style. It's a different, it's a different everything, and that's kind of, that's unique.
Yeah, I mean, I double up some drums by two drummers too.
Yeah,
two songs has two drummers playing the same time. But and the double up by synthesizer, but I didn't use anything but synthesizer.
Right. I mean, that's the conceit of it, right? That's the.
It's a concept I had.
Yeah, if that's your concept, you should stick with it, right? For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want. I don't know. Someday I want to do a little different, but for this one, I just stick with the idea, and I'm just gonna go deep into it. So when
you think so, since we're talking about Plan D and talking about synths and stuff, there's a few things we want to talk to you about. Even though we talked about that when it came out, there's other things I've thought about with it. One of which, who are your favorite synth players, bands or players? Who are folks that you play synthesizers that you're oh wow, yeah, they're awesome?
That's a tough question. Jan Hammer for sure.
Nice.
Jan Hammer. His the performance on Billy Cobham album called Spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jan Hammer played insane. He played keyboard like a guitar, and of course Edgar Winter, Frankenstein. That's it's more favorite player, but also I like how they used not unique way. It's really tasteful way. Nick Rose from Duran Duran always, use the synthesizer really cool way.
Yeah.
I wish I can name it. I can just. I'm not trying to follow them at all. I'm not.
No, not at all. No, and that's not why I was asking, but more. Just,
okay.
I think so. Here's why I asked that specifically, because I think that with synthesizers, especially, there's so many different kind of schools of thought for playing, and it's almost difficult, I think, to sound like someone else while playing synth. You almost have to try to do it because there are so many variations, there's so many permutations, there are settings, et cetera, but then certain moves, if you will, certain things kind of become associated with a person that is maybe like sort of like in the same way that think of like Jerry Lee Lewis, like with the piano slide, right?
Yeah.
Like and you're like, oh, that's the Jerry Lee Lewis thing.
Yeah.
Things along those lines. So if you hear something and you're like, oh wow, that's a Rick Wakeman part. That sounds just, that sounds, and even if what somebody's playing doesn't sound like Rick Wakeman, you associate it with those records that he played those kinds of synths on.
I see. That's a great question. But it's really hard to dial in the sound on the synthesizer. People ask, hey, can you play something? And then I can play, find out right away. But sound, it takes a long time to find out. I can get the image and then get closer fast, but it's not, exact what I thought, So a lot of times I took a long time. The Plan D, it takes long time. It's recording drums is 2-3 hours, and I asked them 5-6 takes, and they warmed up like 2-3 hours, and then after 3 hours they're gonna lose the focus. So I don't I don't do, and then I don't have a much budget, that too, but after that it's going to be repetitive, but drum recording is their style. I just pull their style, and then I get it, so many great takes, if I have 5 good takes, I don't, the guy like a Greg Bissonette, he can go, jazz to samba or hard rock, anywhere, but he has his style. Feels like I was listening, one of the song from David Lee Roth album, so which I saw in 1987.
Was it Not Crazy from the Heat? That's the book. It's
no, that's a song. That's a song.
Yeah, what's the name of the record though? I can't remember the name.
Eat and Smile.
That's right. I was just thinking about that record actually.
Actually, the Going Crazy is one of his great drumming song. And then,
it's badass. I mean, I think it's
the song called War Dance on second EP. He played it. You can get that, idea he played. It's I was smiling, when I was recording. This is shit, So I'm so excited. Anyway, so
sorry, that's David Lee Roth always takes me up.
Recording by itself is not that hard. It's just getting the synthesizer sound and nailing. Just the tone by itself changed the mood, So it was challenging. I took a long time, and I didn't follow anybody's sound. I'm not. I was not looking for anything like a Emerson Lake Palmer or anything. It's just, it just came up that way, and takes, and then
putting it together. Yeah. So I think that the other thing I was thinking about is because you mentioned that so many, for both records, that it's not something you've sat down with a limited time frame to do. You've kind of composed and created some of these stuff, and then you kind of sit on it for a while and sort of collect them for later. So from an organizational standpoint, like, do you have it in your head about, okay, which one needs this, which one needs that? How do you know when it's done?
Yeah, every time I listen, and make it smile. That's a point I can let it go. But I usually listen and then make a notes. Just sit down a few weeks or sometimes 2 days. Like if I'm really into it. But songwriting, if you know, I mean, if you write music, I mean, you do. So
Yeah.
understand that you have to be in the mood. You know, um, it's like a try to watch artsy movie. It's not everyday thing. You know,
Right.
you have
That is
you have to
true. Yeah. Doesn't
yeah
make
you
it
have
bad.
to be in a certain mood. So and then also my daytime job is I work for bands,
Yeah.
so it's really hard to find the time. That's another reason it took a long time.
Well, and I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. That if you have a busy life involved with music already, how do you line it up in such a way that you have the time to work on these things and give them the attention that they deserve and require? Like, do you just think to yourself, oh, I got some free time, let's work on this? Do you specifically make time to work on your own stuff?
That too, and then sometimes I go studio a little earlier and then work 2 hours, and then you know the clients come. So it all depends. It depends on how much I had a time. Sometimes it's busy. This business is up and down. Sometimes
Yeah, man.
yeah, no no session, and sometimes it's just I have to say no to some bands. So
You get
it's
all the sessions at once.
yeah. It's I don't know why, but every odd year I'm really busy, and the even year it's
Oh,
kind of
really? That's weird.
yeah. It's a weird thing. 2019 I was. It could be better than that. It's so busy. I went to 3 different countries for recording other band, and I stopped by to record you.
I remember.
So that's the busiest time, and then I thought it's gonna be, and then everybody knows what happened. So
yeah, something happened.
yeah, something happened.
Turns
Yeah.
out I'm not entirely certain what it was, but something happened. Are you aware of this?
I got a flat tire. Um,
What a tragedy.
yeah. So yeah, it's really I don't know. It's weird. It's never you know a good way. Like hey, I have a time here. Why don't you come down this time? And then they have a job too, or going tour, if it's full-time musicians. So it's a constant fight, but I've been pretty lucky. You know I've been surviving 25 years or so doing the same job.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of people that find some utility in hearing about not just the creativity part of it, but the organizational part, like the part to the way you keep yourself honest and not overwork yourself to the point that you can't be creative with it. But when you have something that's so kind of bold and crazy on the face of it, that like you can't just turn your brain off and go work on your own stuff. There's a lot to it that you're trying to find something interesting, and it to me it seems like there's some utility to that. And it's I know you work a lot in the studio, so I mean there are times that you probably last thing you want to do is hear more music. Right, like the last thing you want to hear.
I love it. I just can't stop. It's like an addiction in a way. To me, I feel weird. If I don't. I mean, if I, away from studio like a 2-3 days, I was just like something's wrong. It's just my lifestyle. So I never felt like, oh, I hate making music. I don't like. I want to stop. I want to take a break. I never felt that.
Really, even when you're really like super busy, you've never felt that way.
Yeah. Because I love my job, so it's really hard to say. I don't know why. It's just like a creative. I like a creative thing every day, and then I like working with the people. Um, talented. Especially talented people, and yeah. So it's yeah. I never felt I'm gonna. It's not easy for sure. It's not easy. Yeah, I could take a few days off and stuff, but yeah, if I can work my music, I don't think I'm gonna stop.
Right. Do you listen to music much in your spare time?
In the car, driving. That's it. Yeah, I don't listen. Um, I don't sit down and listen anymore. That's a time I can write and sometimes read a book, but most time I
throw on a CD or something.
Well, I'm sorry.
Throw on a CD while you're going to do something.
Yeah, no, not anymore. But when I was a little down, I do that. Like, it's been tough time and that kind of thing. And then favorite CD. Yeah, I got a few CD players, and then crank up, with the big speakers. Feels good.
Yeah, that's always good. Nothing wrong about that at all.
Yeah. And also I like playing, so when I have a time, I just neutering guitars or ukulele, mandolin. So.
What are some of your favorite instruments that are your non-traditional, just guitar, bass, drums? What are some of your favorite go-tos for creating and recording?
Mandolin and the banjo, ukulele, and then things called Taisho Koto. That's
yes, I know. Well, yeah.
that one's fun. It's just only one note. It's a chorus of the 5 strings, but it's all same note. You can change one, but you can change as many you want. But that kind of gives you melody. And then shamisen, I play a little bit. Technically called the sanshin, which is a Okinawan version of the shamisen.
Yeah, those are cool, man. Those are really cool.
Yeah. A bunch of strings instrument I like to play, and then I like mess around, circuit bending.
That's exciting in and of itself. I mean, do you think that there's utility in people doing that themselves, like just kind of trying to do those sorts of things on their own, just to see if they can find some value out of it?
What do you mean, like do more of circuit bending, or
like as a hobby? Like, I know people that don't play music necessarily, but they just.
I did at one point a lot, but now my studio stuff is busy, so I don't have much time. I love to make new pedals too. I have so many ideas, but that's why it's nice to have a friend who makes it for me.
Which is probably a good time to mention the T-Fuzz.
Yep, that's another invention I wrote. I made around beginning of the 2000.
Yeah.
So I was a studio employee, and then if the producer set up stuff, they don't need me all the time, and that's a Pro Tools kind of getting big, and they do a lot of editing stuff. So
Right.
that's a time I was just reading books, magazine, and then I don't want to waste my my time, and then started reading like a Radio Shack book,
Yeah.
and then learning schematics, and then got a little deep into it, and then started messing around. Um, you know, online's getting bigger. Early 2000, and looking up, and then made a fuzz, and then the reason I made a fuzz is I didn't have a many fuzz pedal in my um, pedal collection. So it's kind of hard to see, huh? Pedals.
You got quite a few. You got a few out there.
Yeah. So yeah, I started making it, and then I was like, what if I put the 3 transistor instead of 2 on the
Yeah.
T fuzz? Some I don't know, big muff or something. I was doing it, and then start changing the circuit, EQ section, blah blah blah, and then quite a few models, and then finally end up in the T fuzz the Hilbish makes. I asked him. Yeah, I sent the schematics, and then one of a prototype I made a long time ago.
Now I know you're very selective with pedals you like, and certainly selective about ones you put your name on. But what are your thoughts in general on selection of pedals out there? Like, I think you've got a unique view, and I'd like to hear it.
Every pedal, any pedals, there's a way you can use.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so any fuzz pedal, any distortion pedal, it depends on how you use. A lot of people misunderstand that they compare to I don't know, like an AC/DC sound or whatever, sound. Oh, it never sounds like this, so I don't like the pedals. That's wrong way to thinking about pedals. I think you have to treat like a kid. Everybody has own identity, and then that's why never stop buying shit.
And I also know you're a big fan of utilizing different effects pedals for things that are outside of what people would think of as their normal utility, their normal use, like using things in a way. Oh, let's see how this works here. Let's see what this sounds like on this.
Yeah, if you listen Dale Crover albums, 2 albums, both of them from Joyful Noise, there's a segment of the drums that go through the most of them go through the pedals. Dale told me he was inspired by the Plan D. He wanted to do a similar thing, but he didn't want to release before me. So you
want to scoop you, yeah.
You don't need to do the same thing, but could you do something like that? And then his favorite new thing was using a gate
as an instrument. Yeah, using it in such a way. Yeah,
that's one of my not secret weapon, but I use all the time. Yeah. The gate is really useful to surprise people. You can use as a pen, or you can use weird swell.
So Toshi, of course I know, but for the people that maybe don't, that are interested in the show, can you explain what that is, what the gate is, like what
gate
it does?
Gate is so they,
I know it's a little difficult. It's like expressing a compressor or something.
It's other way to the compressor. So there's a threshold. So there's a level, sound level. If you go over the threshold, it's going to open up the sound. And then if you go down of the threshold, it's going to be disappear or attenuate, either way. So gate is really useful tool. Like drum's going to be tighter,
Yeah.
It's going to be.
There's a certain kind of sound with it too that sometimes people seek out, and they don't maybe necessarily realize that that's how that's done.
Yeah, since the 80s they use a lot of gate reverb, just cut it, the things I love is called the keychain, other signal, audio signal open for the others. That I did for Dale. He played droning the sitar, and then every time drums comes in, it opens up sitar sound. So it's like a I record that way, and the drums come in, don 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 don, and then so ga 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 ga. So the trick's called the keychain.
Never heard of that before. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm sorry, key input or keychain? Yeah, keychain. Yeah, keychain. Yeah, and then if you buy those outboard device, a lot of them has those. Famous the drummer, the company called the drummer, has 201. That one has really good gate, and the Behringer has copy of that one. I think that one has more headroom. So I don't want to tell them, and then I try to get more, and the people start buying stuff. I'm really sad. So I don't want to give them too much information.
Don't spill all the info then.
Yeah, stop here. Yeah,
exactly. So do you think that how do you feel about people having sort of allegiances to certain gear, meaning that like someone's like, oh well, I have to have this. This is key to my sound. If I don't have this, then it's not me or whatever.
I understand that. It's sudden point, but I don't know. Yeah, what the what's a John Coltrane quote? Like he can play Shutai or whatever. Sounds I forgot it, but
another way of talking about
basically it's from not what do you use, the poor carpenter quote too, but I don't know, the gear inspire you, so it's I agree and disagree in the same time. I don't have like a certain stuff I have to have, but in the same time I'm gear slut too, so it's
you showed us already. It's already back.
Yeah, it's really hard, but you don't need to stick with one sound, but it's hard. Some signature sound, if it's so unique, like a Brian May's guitar, that's he invented, that's and also, the guys from 10cc, they made the things called the Gizmo. They invent and they made a whole album by that. It's making like a Evo kind of thing. But it's a 6 of them. It's the if you push it, so the roller's gonna touch it, so they're gonna start playing on each strings on the guitar. But I like to that. I invent some stuff too.
Some of your own things, sure, yeah.
Yeah, and then I use it. And so, but I don't think it's my sound. It's just I do the feedback thing. I show you at the studio. That's I think my thing, but you can really get the patent for that. It's just
it's not. There's ultimately not that much to it, but it's kind of ingenious.
I started. I don't need to do that. I didn't start making music, so music is there, so long time ago. So I gave
getting
up.
back let's think about the T-Fuzz, which I think is a fantastic pedal. What makes that pedal unique, like as a player, for someone that does like not a circuit bender, for someone that does know all the details? Why do you think that pedal shines?
It's that I think input has a lot of headroom, and then it's reactive way different than other fuzz pedal. It's not one sound. You can do it. The guy named is Pejmon made an album with me, and then it's going to come out soon. He was in the Secret Chiefs. Great drummer, insane drummer, and then he's a great musician. He can play anything, especially drums. But he started playing the guitar, and it's really good. But that album has a most T-Fuzz. Like every song has a T-Fuzz.
All over the place. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I want you to try. If you have a pretty good guitar sound, like a distorted guitar, aggressive, and then add a T-Fuzz, it's gonna have extra edge. It's a great tool for that. And then also, if you compress before that, it's gonna be more traditional fuzz sound. But if you don't compress, if you play quiet, it's clean, and then suddenly hit, it's going to be distorted. So a lot of things that you think it's just the two knobs and does only one thing. You're wrong. There's a few things you can do, and then the combination, the other distortion or compressor first or after T-Fuzz, before or after on the chain, it makes very different sound.
And that can be, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the quote unquote correct place.
There's no correct or incorrect in the music. Yeah. It's execution. I hate people say I'm right. It's like, no, you're not right. You might have a better opinion, better taste for that, certain thing. But if you are execution, if really shitty singer has a really great performance, it's possible. So it's I don't think there's a right or wrong in the music. It's just especially in what we are, in rock stuff. I hate, and I shouldn't say hate, but I disagree to the opinion. He's right. He's shitty. It's like, you don't know what that guy can do. She can do. There's something you can, it depends on the application.
We've probably talked about this before on the other times we've been on the show, but what are kind of what's your thought process and method of operation for trying to get the best performances out of people? Like what are some things that you have to do with folks to get them to be there?
Confidence for sure. One is confidence, and then in a way you have to love what you have. You have. I don't want you to be a narcissist, but on the stage, at least you have to have a charisma. You have to have certain attitude. It's showing something. You are entertaining somebody. So you don't want to see somebody look like on the street, just start doing stuff. You have to have, why Kiss was great, because they're from outside of this, this planet, look like, so that's I want to see. Lady Gaga looks weird in a good way, so I get it, so that's I want to see, I'm if you can play guitar like a nobody's business, I don't care, t-shirts with the, it has to have some kind of um the the, the entertaining, element. So
some character to it. So sometimes that can be people not necessarily even knowing themselves and like being in the process of discovery about it. Maybe some folks know, some folks don't, and then you get to like utilize that as part of the making of a record, perhaps.
yeah, it's the same thing. I was telling to band, like, I started cracking up. It's like, dude, if you're gonna do, if you're gonna do stuff, you have to go all the way. You can do the half-ass way. If you want to do it, do it. Don't be shy. Don't be, you think you are the hot shot.
Do you think do you notice there's a lot of that kind of like not fully committing to a thing?
That's commitment. Yeah. You gotta commit. Otherwise, I don't want to hear. I don't want to record. If you cracking up, don't wasting my time. So, that's a little extreme. I said it too much. But you know what I mean. It's just that if you want to do it, do it. It's life is just once. So why you just suddenly it's like, I don't know, I can do this. So I don't need to hear that.
Do you think that since you've been recording, do you feel like you've improved as a producer and engineer in kind of bringing that out of folks?
Yeah, of course. I'm not shy. I'm telling people. Yeah, I'm not. That's why I don't want to call myself engineer, because I can mouth shut. So
yeah, well, lots of people have thoughts about that too, about what constitutes what. But I think part of it almost to me seems like you're an ambassador, right? Like part of it's just like knowing how to talk to someone. And
yeah, but I don't think I'm right all the time. So I might say, the people think different idea, which is fine, because I believe, what I believe. So, that's not music. Same thing, I just because they listen doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. There's something about it. So I'm gonna, okay, what is it? Oh, I get it, but I don't want to listen. It's not my thing.
Your deal. Yeah, it's for someone else, and that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, somebody enjoyed it. I don't need to, talk shit about it.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them. Yeah, you enjoy it. Yeah. Some people like, baseball. Some people don't. You don't need to convince.
When you're putting together the songs that ended up on the based on true stories, were you thinking about it in terms of it having to be kind of more sparse? Or were you thinking about it in terms of, really going, what Night of the Opera or something like Overdub City, like all over the place? Like, what were you thinking as far as what kind of record you wanted this to be?
Oh, it's just like it says in there, like I want to experimentation, but in the same time, I don't want to just record repetitive thing. I want to write song too. So overdub wise, just because I focus on acoustic instruments, so I'm in my head some songs just like an orchestra, like I don't study those things, so I don't want to copy them. But growing up listening, soundtrack since you're a kid. Our generation, the music's everywhere. It's not.
Oh yeah.
Silent movie. We grown up with the music, with the sound. So when you listening, soundtrack of Jerry Goldsmith, John Williams, just to name it, it's orchestra, and then Jerry does a lot of weird things too, the synthesizer, so I kind of, it's in your your head. You don't need to focus on it, but I wanted to do some kind of orchestra, instrumentation, but I don't know how to play violin. I don't know how to play trumpet. It's what I can do is I know how to play guitar a little bit. So kind of those instruments add up and then make something weirder. That's how I started. I mean, not how I started, but it's going that that direction. And then a lot of recent song, the newer song, it's more like a focus on the orchestra imitation kind of vibe.
But it occurs to me that there's a lot of space in it. Is why I ask.
Again, it's
years, but yeah, there's a lot of space.
Acoustic guitar, so and then not electric guitar, which less sustain, and then it's guitar, so it's not violin, so almost no sustain in most of the song. If you listen like a Gypsy Kings in the past album, they don't have any drums because they use guitar as percussion. It's a bunch of those. It's a rhythm, so I understand that it's a lot of when you say the stub, it's just I focus on the more pun. No, I didn't focus, but it ended up that way, because of the instrumentation I use. So
yeah, because I mean, there are a lot of, well, I mean, I think you invoked James Taylor earlier, right? Like there's a lot of like acoustic records, and it's like, right, it's the guy with the guitar, he's singing about a girl, we get it, blah blah blah. Like there's just a lot of them, and it's perfectly understandable that that's something some people think of when they're like, oh, it's an acoustic record, and that's the first thing that comes into mind.
Yeah. I mean, they're good as is. I don't dislike
James
Taylor or other musicians. There's some good songs for sure, but I'm not looking for that. You
invoked Leonard Cohen earlier. I think some of those Leonard Cohen records that early on was so good. They're so great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just John Baez or whatever. Those people had a great song. So, but it's not time. It's just I do want to experiment a lot of different way, what I can do. So I don't need to follow anybody's footstep, so that's I want to make my own music, and then I don't care it doesn't fit. I told you so many times the client who comes to me, they are misfits. They don't fit anywhere. So
yeah.
I think that the attitude I have, kind of invite those people. So I want to be unique, playing instruments, writing songs. To me, it's like a show who you are, So, and then, my album is all over the place. So, but yeah, so I think I want to surprise people. It's like, this is very Toshi-like, so.
Sure. Yeah. Why wouldn't? Why not? Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the skills like Eddie Van Halen, so if you hear his guitar, you can tell,
You can tell exactly who it is. Right.
Yeah. And then Steve Vai, it's similar, but it's different. You can tell, Randy Rhoads sounds different, so they have their own identity, and then within the rock music, they show who they are. I think music should be that way. To me, influence is there, so you don't need to make a tribute of them. To me,
yeah. Well, and that's you can say a lot of things about the record, but like it's very unique. And like I said, I can think of some comparisons, but it's sort of like, oh yeah, well, it's a little like this, or if you like that, it's gonna be, which is great because it sounds like you, and it sounds like you're
Yeah,
playing.
I mean, some song I ripped off, So, one of my favorite, the musician in Japan. There's a two guys I can name is Akira Ifukube. It's really hard to say, and then Masaru Sato. Those guys are old fashioned composer, and then Akira Ifukube wrote a song for Godzilla. Everybody know.
Yeah. You hear it and you know.
That's really messed up music, and it's not one-time signature. It's really complicated. I listened that when I was a kid, and I didn't know what's going on. And then I started doing music. Oh, wow! 9 goes to 11. I forgot what that is, but that kind of music is all over the place, and you don't notice. So it's.
Yeah, I mean, what is Godzilla's roar was like? It was like a thing in a piano or something, if I remember right. Like they were just
the sound. It's
sound.
It's a contrabass. And then using it's on my I tried, and it's on my Instagram. Using a rubber grab, and then squeezing the slow tape speed. So
I love it. I love that stuff.
Yeah, that guy's a genius. And then also Masaru Sato is he's a song composer for a lot of Kurosawa film, and
so many of the so many of those scores are, even if somebody can't pick it out of a lineup, they're like, oh yeah, like
he did weird stuff in the 80s too, but some hip hop sounds like too, but the movie called Rainbow Kid, it's a great movie, but the music is pretty funny. But his music is so good. It's so cinematic, Yojimbo is one of my favorite soundtrack.
Jimbo's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I rip off the which song was it? I think song 4, Anti-Hero. That's Tori. You can tell that, but I didn't, I tried to, be like him or anything like that. Just
you're doing your own thing for sure.
Yeah, and then wow, this sounds like a Yojimbo song. Why don't I keep writing? Yeah. And also, I did a lot of experimentation. I wrote song from backwards, first song and the last song. I play acoustic guitar arpeggio and then flip it.
It's got that reversed
reverse sound.
Sure.
It's not strings. And then the song 9, Topsy Turvy, the song called. Which means upside down. There's a French guy speaking. This word is upside down in French. I believe I asked him to sing it that way, but I don't know. He said that he might say a totally different thing.
Right. Yeah.
But that song, if you play backwards, it's exactly same song from listening forward.
That's great.
So I wrote, this comes here, this comes here. So it's a weird song.
Well, do you ever look at something like that and think of it like you're putting together a puzzle or something? I mean, how does it?
No. I just it's my daytime jobs. I know what's going to happen. So it's in computer is like my part of body. So I can do this.
Yeah. You get your hand motions down where you're not even thinking about it. It's just
pretty much. Yeah, I've been doing this. The computer thing for a long time. So I recorded an analog, at the beginning, and then Pro Tools took over, and then I don't mind to go back analog, but I don't need to argue about it, which sounds better and which sounds not.
It's not a
to
good
me,
use of people's time, I don't think, personally.
yeah, the analog sounds great. Analog sounds great, no doubt. If you have a great tape and then you know how to align the tape. So uh, yeah, it's great. But I like a computer too. How convenient, I have so much information in a small hard drive, and then I can record pretty much anywhere. So and then great quality. It's not same. It's different. So
Well, and they're tools, right? They're tools to achieve a goal. And
I love both.
do you think that has there been anything when because you've recorded many different kinds of bands and
Yeah.
you've worked with many kinds of different bands? Can you think of a situation where you've recorded something and you've really just been kind of blown away, like you learned something brand new that you never thought of that way, like that you saw with one of those projects, one of those bands, one of those artists?
I did a lot. The guy name is Mark Endert, who recorded Madonna and then Fiona Apple. He's a huge influence to me. He showed me a bunch of tricks. I mean, he didn't show off or anything. I just look him from behind. I said, "Oh, that's cool." The guy who recorded Tool was great too. David Butcher, he was a good engineer. Mark was totally blew my mind as an engineer point. Who else? I worked with Eddie Kramer. That was a great. It's just the technique he showed, 60 years ago to people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's probably not the first mind he's blown.
Yeah, everybody knows the trick, but man, the guy's work ethic,
Yeah,
he was 62 when I was working with him. He was running around in the studio, trying to find one good wah pedal, That's
awesome.
He's like a kid,
Yeah,
and then
still has that
hey,
enthusiasm.
bring different one, not that one, it was such a great time. It's just I can experience that, I might, but I blew my mind for sure.
And when what is the process like for when something is done? Like when something is done, it's heading off to be mastered or whatever along those lines. Do you just do you ever think about it again? Do you think that like it's are they more like your children, or are they more like chance encounters on the train?
There's some point you can't put too much stuff. Okay, so this. I don't think that the term called overproduce doesn't exist. It's a bad produce. You can go over, but to me it's not overproduce. It's a bad produce, because you can put so much element in a really good way.
Yeah.
So, but certain point, it's like this gonna, if I put this, the vocal is gonna be disappear, guitar is gonna be meaningless, whatever, so
there's only so much space, so
yeah, you have to have a space, but I love layering stuff, that.
Yeah.
There's a band called the God's Wounds. Man, they're so good, and no one cares. They're good, and then I recorded one of band. I went to Australia to record that. 2000.
I remember. Yeah, I think you talked about that maybe last time you were on. If I remember.
Yeah, they're good. This band is good too. Prison Bitch, check it out. They have a lot of stuff going on. Now it's a four piece band, but still good. They're really good.
They got a very memorable name too. That's a name that I was like, oh, all right, I'm not gonna forget that anytime soon.
Yeah. And believe it or not, Buzz likes to put a lot of stuff. He's enjoying a lot of stuff. And then I love when he asks, "Hey, can you do this and do this?" It's a challenging, but he knows I like. So yeah, those guys are inspire me all the time too. It's just songwriting, and the Steven's a super great bass player, and then Dale play drums, nobody's business. So
pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, all right. He's all right.
He's getting good. Yeah.
Yeah. The weird songwriting, Buzz always bring weird songs. So they inspire me. There's so many bands inspire me, in a way. So many different ways.
What do you what kind of things do you do when you're recording a band of any kind, be it a bigger band, smaller band, whatever, and you see someone wasting time?
Wasting time
or pursuing something that doesn't seem like it's going to give them the desired result necessarily.
The time they started arguing, you're old bass player. I have an idea, and then you too at the beginning. You just say, "Oh, I don't think." Oh, really? So I don't want to say wasting time. It's just that I have an idea. Hey, why don't you do the harmony here?
Mm-hmm.
And then worst case, so it's like the harmony section is 5 seconds. So you're gonna lose 5 seconds, and then you're gonna argue about it like for 5 minutes. So that's like, but I know how to say it. If you don't like it, you don't need to use it. Why don't? Please try it for me. Try it for me. That's it. I did it for I don't want to name, but one of your bass player. So.
There haven't been that many, so people can probably do the research.
And then he did it for me. He did it for me. So, it happens quite a few times. They question about, but at one time I impressed them, they never ask me again. Usually,
you build that trust, right?
Yeah, okay. Toshi has a vision, So I do. I listen like I'm mixing in the same time. So it's how to approach people, how, but I never feel wasting time. I besides that, that's another reason I don't want to just engineer, because I know quicker way and smart. I don't say smart, but
more effective.
Effective. Tasteful way. And I'm not best engineer or anything like that. But I know some trick I can do, and then it's just I wanted them to try. So.
What do you think?
Like it?
Exactly. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it, right?
That's fine. That's fine. It's on my album. It's on my album.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think makes a good song?
Great melody, and then great attitude, and great performance, great drummer, great guitar riff.
Yeah.
Great bass line. So many. It's okay to lack one of them or two of them. Something is there. I know how to make it. Songs interesting, for sure.
I mean, I think of the classic example of Satisfaction, right? Like Keith Richards never liked the sound of the guitar sound. He never particularly liked it. Everyone else like, sounds great. This is awesome. This is special. Then he's like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Really? He makes tons of money by that and you don't like it.
Just not one. The rest of it I think he likes, but that one he just doesn't
okay.
make a sound. So when he plays it live, he doesn't use the fuzz or whatever it is like that.
I see.
He hates the sound of it apparently, which is hilarious. It's like, really? Don't leave bands for
he might be right. He might be right. There's going to be better sound, but it's a taste thing,
But there's sometimes wrong decisions can make a result that is right. Like something it's a wrong decision. It's not like what you normally would do, but here's this reason why it's actually awesome though.
Yeah. It depends on the perspective. So I don't know. I can really tell because I'm not looking for number one hit. I'm just looking for making great stuff, and then I'm going to be proud of. So if there's 4 people in the band, the one guy might have a different idea. So,
Well, and it's
tough.
Yeah, that's part of the diplomacy, right?
Yeah.
You have to be the mediator.
Don't go politics, man. Don't go politics, okay?
Well, but you gotta, it's you gotta be a coach. Everyone's trying to win.
Politics is everywhere. Politics is everywhere.
That's true.
So, there's no point to it.
It's all very yeah, nice cup. Well, what do you think about? Because I know you're a big fan. You have many different kinds of instruments. You have many different styles and varieties. And I know you're not shy about picking them out and using them if you think they have different sounds.
Yeah.
How do you feel in terms of, I guess they call it analysis paralysis, where there's too many options? If you give someone too many options and they tend to choose nothing, I think that's part of it.
That's one of the biggest problem in the Pro Tools. They just tried so many things, and then I just have the session right now. I don't want to say who, but basically, somebody sent me a lot of things, and I have to pick. They have no idea how much it's going to take. I like more empty and adding stuff than take it off. It's hard. Even the noise section, people say it's like, oh, just record it. Okay, that's going to be my problem.
Right. And then you got all these things to sift through, so that makes it harder.
It takes a long time. It's not easy. You think, oh yeah, I can take it off later, maybe that's the reason, a lot of people spend too much time on the mixing, too many options, So I think it happens on instruments too. And the funny thing, if you got a new pedals and then you want to use it all the time, that's most things happen, and it usually doesn't fit.
Oh, it's vintage.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I gotta use this. It's like, no, you don't need to.
Yeah, you actually don't need to use that.
Why don't you keep it to your solo album? That's how it's...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and I think there's something to be said for being excited about things. Don't get me wrong, but
I mean, you're excited. I understand, but sometimes it doesn't work. So I get it. People are excited. Over excited. So I get it. You have to be tasteful sometimes.
What kind of stuff excites you when you're recording others?
Something kind of miking, weird miking too, and also like you said, put the pedals in a different thing. I always like weird, roomy, weird sound, and then kind of put on the behind. And great musician always, and the great songs excited me. So many things.
What is something, whether it's a band or a record, that you wish that you could have done Or do you feel like maybe you could have done a better job of, or maybe you just thought it'd be cool to be there? Like, what's something that you wish you could have done that you hadn't?
Usually most obsession, because usually budget run out. So they don't want to spend the money. So
yeah,
that's the time, and the time. They kind of rush it, or have to be done by this. And then if you listen, mix, open up the session, and then listen, there's always things I want to fix. So I would say every session, most of the session, I'm not 100% satisfied, but that's going to be
really
that's the reason I want to make. I want to improve that. I didn't do that. I didn't put the this kind of delay on the vocal. Next time, similar session, I'm going to do it. So yeah, that's what kind of drives me for the upcoming projects. So I think it's okay. Some negativeness.
Okay, give me in your opinion, Toshi, the best and worst parts of the sort of home recording revolution in terms of how it directly affects you in the records you make. What are the best things about it? What are the worst things about it?
You can record anytime, and then could be really creative. No time or budget. Threats. So that's a great thing. But the home recording is not really teamwork job. I like to. I mean, some people has a huge house. You can do that, but it's just that I'm not crazy about using those factory sample and stuff. It's just too generic for me. I like to use the sound of the studio or sound of the performance somehow. It's just I'm sure no one can tell, but every time I listen, I image that. It's like, oh, I use this and use this. Like, no, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Every time I record with bands in the studio, I feel the sound of the studio, and then that makes me happy.
And there's things that are organic too, right? That you can't, like a dying battery in a pedal or something, where it's like you're not ever going to be able to reproduce that in a preset, too.
Yeah, then you can do it at home, and then some people just this is demo I record at home, so this sounds better. It's like better in a way, but we can find it. It's and then if you can beat it, you use it. So there's no rule. I said some people that you can cook at home, but did you go France to learn French food? So it's just it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Being a studio is I'm professional in a way, so I do what I know, and then something that doesn't mean if you cook something at home might be blew my mind, so you never know. But if you want to go number one LA restaurant, you can tell the difference. So
yeah,
I'm focused on that. You go to come to chef. I
Look, there's also just because you can doesn't mean you should. Like, I know how to fix a toilet too. Doesn't mean I should be.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. You know how to make it. So there's no room, man. You can cook at home. So
yeah,
I'm not that position. Hey, don't cook at home. You know what I mean? So if you want to treat yourself, come to me. I give you great treat. And then I'm gonna work with you, still cooking with you. You know what I mean?
And that's one of the biggest things I think you can offer by just being somebody else with an outside perspective that like sometimes people I think lack.
Yeah,
It's increasingly isolated world, like lack context to things that they can go
yeah,
down the rabbit hole.
yeah. Why don't you treat yourself? You deserve me. That's
Yeah, it's good. It's good. We'll make that to a little commercial. We'll clip that part.
Yeah. Number here.
Yeah, exactly. Call 1-800 Toshi Kasai. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't
555.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, it's getting better. The computer is getting better, and then equipment is getting better. So a lot of people record by themselves, which is fine, but I have confidence I can make you happy. I can make you surprise people, so I'm not worrying about. I don't think it's a threat or anything. It's a great thing. I mean, a Les Paul record, themselves in 50s.
He learned. He's basically the first looper. He's the first guy who's looping, really. Yeah.
And then he has a time. He did a lot of different interesting stuff. So home recording is not new thing, but it's getting easier. No one didn't have a space for a tape machine.
Right.
Yeah, it's bigger than laundry. So but I don't need to fight for that. Somebody asked me for the like some kind of what do you call it, those what do you call those, like you go on and talking about stuff, it's spaced out, like what do you call it? I'm sorry, it's not
podcast.
No, it's not podcast. It's just more like a
like a blog, like a journal, like a
no. This is you go in front of people and then talking about stuff.
Like a TED talk or something, like a seminar or a
seminar. Yeah, and then they asked me to do the home recording stuff, and then I don't want to encourage it, so I didn't go.
What are you trying to do? Eat me out of house and home? Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like, why have to say don't come to my studio?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
you can do it yourself, but why don't you also come to my studio and pay me money too? Thank you.
yeah, that'd be great.
Well, Toshi, how do you feel about? I've been doing this thing lately. Some people seem to get a lot out of it. When a new record comes out, we kind of go through each of the songs and you can kind of tell me something about it. Like maybe, even if it's just like where the title came from, what the recording of it was like, any ideas behind it, things along those lines. You down to do that?
I kind of did that, but
you did a little bit, but we did it in the context of the discussion. So if you're down with it, let's just do it together. It doesn't have to be like an essay question answer. It's fine. It can just be a couple things, or why is it called that, or hey, this guitar is cool and I like it, and that's why I did that, or something along those lines. It can be whatever you like.
For them, I'm reading the title, Song 2, Perpetual Manufacturing. That's a song, I think, it's like more single, it's catchy.
Yeah, it's a good little number. It's got some tunes.
Yeah, that's the one I was practicing some Bossa Nova chord. And then, Bossa Nova is really cool, mostly major chord and, a lot of sixth and, ninth, those things. And then I played those notes by minor chord. Mm-hmm. So, and then kind of rhythm, you can hear it on the right side speaker. That's the rhythm guitar, and that kind of started. And then somebody called that as because sound. Maybe you did. Django,
man, Django
Reinhardt, or one of my friend and JC and my wife said it reminds me Raymond Scott, and you know, kind of same kind of, you know, kind of rhythm, you know, and then that's why, you know, no powerhouse. It's called you know, manufacturing. It's kind of like a repetitive, you know, manufacturing kind of vibe. That's my wife said. Okay, so then song title is that. But yeah, the song started. It's pretty cool chord. It's there's a guitar.
Nice.
Kind of, you know, that's kind of started. It's like, oh, this is cool, kind of gypsy, you know, like a Django, or but it's minor note, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's just the melody just popped out without thinking, you know. Bum, 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 you know, it's like, oh, this is cool. So that was I wrote that song in 2003. It's just stuff from practicing guitar, and then sometimes if you try to different thing, maybe new things gonna come up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why wouldn't
Right.
why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Why not?
So yeah, that's a, you know, it was like a bossa nova oriented song, you know, and then, you know, I'm not interested in making a bossa nova album. You know, there's so many great ones, so leave it. You know, so that's why I kind of started, and then main
Yes,
melody. What's
yeah.
up?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, main melody played by the ukulele. So
Yeah, that's nice. Talking about, I think that the first song is cool too. OBE, Day Begins with Reluctance.
yeah, that's a first half is a backwards, you know,
Mhm. Yeah.
and the second half is more like I tried to make it more like a soundtrack kind of vibe.
Yeah, and you you have a bookended at the end that way, so it's even
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, and then put the more melody on it, you know, same song, you know, different vibe. I mean, same vibe.
did you have a special thought towards that being what you kicked the record off with that way?
It's kind of set you in the mood, I think, you know, and then kind of like a day, you know, the concept is like a one day of the life. So based on true story, it's going to be soundtrack for you, every listener. So listen and buy it.
There you go.
It's good. Yeah, it's you know, I don't put the uh you know, lyrics or too much information, so anyone can take any way, you know. So as a plan D, you know, sometimes, you know, if you say stuff, it's going to be only one imagination. So I want people to decide whatever they want, you know, listener to think whatever they think. So it's going to be your soundtrack. So that's why it's based on true stories.
What about Lines of Misery? How about that one?
That's I started jamming with circuit bending, glitch loop. I just play acoustic guitar, and then over what I have, what I record, and then, oh, this is cool, you know. Oh, I can, you know, certain note is behind it, you know, so I can go too many different chord, but I started playing arpeggio guitar, and then slide banjo I played,
yeah, because it is a banjo, but it does sound kind of nuts. So okay,
which took long time to record. You know, it's not easy.
Yeah, they don't normally do that. Yeah,
yeah. So that's a reason. You know, I like challenging, man.
How about Antihero?
That's a song I was kind of, you know, more thinking about the orchestration, and then I use tons of different instrument, you know, guitar, taisho koto, so many layers, and then I think I play bow banjo. That one, yeah.
Nice. Gonna be sponsored by Big Banjo by the time this is done.
Send me here. Send me here.
Send all your banjo requests to Toshi Kasai.
Yeah. I love it. So many different instruments. I want to get some stuff, but so buy it so I can invest for the next album.
So you can buy more weird instruments. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Obligated Party is what you have after that one.
Oh, which one was that? Shit. Obligated Party. That's hold on a second.
I can play it for you in a second, but I was not myself ready. So.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah, that one is another one. Yeah, I didn't like the working title, so that I changed it. That's weird. I hated the song with the title. It was like Blue Mountain or something. I just came up. Blue Mountain's fine. And then every time I see it, I didn't want to work with it, and then I have to change the title. And I changed the title, and then this is so. It's not great, a positive song title, but yeah.
Well, and then was it just that it didn't work? You just didn't like it didn't fit the song, or was it that you just didn't like
it's I don't know. It's so Blue Mountain, I don't know why it came up, but it's like a really Americana,
but it's blue.
Yeah, but like a Americana kind of vibe. I didn't.
Sure.
It didn't fit, and then it's kind of like a nostalgia. The melody, and then melancholy. Kind of weird vibe, and then there's a lot of reverb going on. So maybe that's the reason I didn't like. I got a hard time to keep walking, and then change the title, and then. Expedite the process, and then I thought it fits into this album.
No, it sounds cool, and it's actually really cool right in the middle like that. I think that's a good place.
Oh, okay.
Not that you're waiting to hear my opinion on it, but that's that's my take on it. Leaving is the one after that.
Leaving. That's I kind of wrote one song long time ago. Kind of David Bowie alias, ish. And then, there's like I don't want to make, James Taylor albums. I don't want to, go over the melody. So I put the guitar into analog delay and then feedback, and that makes really good tone.
Yeah.
So that was early 2000. I wrote. And then pretty much finished it, and then I just add harmonica, kind of swell kind of vibe. So it's one of the simplest song. Kind of take a deep breathe. A lot of information comes at beginning to there, and then kind of relax. I thought it's really nice, leaving from the mood.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then you got Captured by the Crowds.
That's wait, which one was that? That's confusing, those two.
Or Captured by Crowds, depending on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a soundtrack-ish. I was really fascinated. That there's a genre, or so basically. The group of people play music for advertisement on the street in Japan. It still exists, but it's I don't know. It's called it's a bad word now, but it's called a chindonya, which is they're gonna give them flyers, but music going on, so people pay attention. And they have some kind of jazz vibe or earlier Japanese, imported jazz kind of vibe. It's really, play clarinet, saxophone sometimes, but it always use traditional Japanese percussion instruments. So it's really mixed up. I thought I thought it's really, I really fascinated, the genre of the music. So, and then I kind of imaged that too, right? So there's a lot of high pitched bell that's they use
to get people's attention.
Yeah, you can hear from far away.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they did. You might be right. I didn't go too much detailed research about it, but I like the instrumentation. It's small drums, and then always it's like they carry like a marching band. They have a taiko drum, and then kind of mixed up with the bells, and it's if you have a time and look it up,
sounds fascinating. Yeah,
Chindonya, so I think I can really say that right, because it's a discrimination. I think I might be wrong. Chindon means loud, so
gotcha. Okay, well, just be careful how you search that, I guess.
But Chindon, that's I think, I don't know, I'm no historian.
The whole of Echoes.
That's a glitch, and then I just cleaned up, and then I thought that the melody was great. Happens to be, it's a Texas Instrument music and math, the blue one.
Oh right, yeah, I know those things. Yeah,
and then it came up, and then I changed some stuff, and then put the echoes. So another thing is just take a break, before the ending.
Yeah. It's a breaker almost. Yeah. Topsy Turvy.
That's a song I from top and then backwards is exactly the same song. I just want to do it, and that came up. So it's if you have a cassette or put it in a computer and flip it, it should be same
the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay. Test your audio equipment out with it.
Yeah, I didn't record half of it and then flip it, and put together. I didn't do that. I just recorded everything, on the parts. Yeah. So it was fun, so.
And then of course you close it out with back to OBE.
Yeah. So feels like your body is gonna be far away, bye today kind of thing, so.
What does OBE stand for? What is that?
Off body experiment. Experiment, and I think.
Nice.
So basically, your body is gonna go away from, like you're not dead, but you can see, yourself from sky or something, So
out of body experience.
Yeah, I never had, but it feels like it, that's my, I felt that way, and then I asked my wife, and then how about OBE? That's exactly the time, so she knew it, and so that's why. Also, like a British Empire things too, like those royal families called OBE.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Why
not? But off body, the phenomenon, so feels like the day is over. You're kind of like relax or whatever you feel like, So that's a song I wrote everything in the backward.
Nice.
I mean, main guitar.
You got the and I think the album art is very interesting too. It's kind of cinematic looking.
Yeah,
like it's like the power station and the tree, right? Is that a power station?
Yeah, that's my wife made it. Idea came because of the kind of music is acoustic guitar and electric, so
it's a mix of the tactile and the mechanical.
Yeah, we made a few album cover, and a few of them look like a heavy metal, because of the power. So
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is not right. They get the wrong idea. So we changed the angle. We took a few photo. We went, locate some location shot, and then trees and different trees. We took some, and then I'm really happy with the result. My wife did a great job. So.
Yeah, it looks cool. And of course, people can get it on Bandcamp, toshikasai.bandcamp.com. There's also a cassette. Joyful News did a cassette with it, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's limited.
Or something. Is that what it is? Yeah.
I don't know how much left, and then I haven't received yet. I think it's delayed. It's been delayed because of the
supply
blame
chain.
everything COVID.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
I think it's a cool record, man. I think it's a
thanks, man.
I think it's a good record, and I'm glad you came on to talk about it. You're always welcome in this show, as far as I'm concerned.
Thanks, man. Yeah. How about next?
Check it out.
How about next week? I'm gonna release the Plan D soon, so.
Well, next week we'll be on our way out to the
yeah. Remote. Yeah. Anytime, man. Anytime.
But it's I think it's cool, man. And like I said, it's not what I think people might think of if they only knew you from like Melvins and Tool recording and stuff. They're gonna make an assumption. I think it's a really cool record that has a lot of interesting things for people that give it a listen.
Yeah, I like to make a different thing. I'm trying.
I think you've very much succeeded. So is there anything else, anything coming up that we didn't get to with everything else? Anything else you'd like to?
So Joyful Noise, and then I'm working on Plan D release. So it's going to be each month and a full EP, but this time I add a few songs. So between those dramas, I made simple percussion with synthesizer, triggered by my I play percussion instruments, and then so it's gonna be full album, not EP anymore. So that's gonna extra songs, and then my wife played one song. She's a great drummer, and then
awesome.
I love to hire drummers, but I don't want to be a negative, so. I get it. Say no more. Say less. Yeah. So, but I think I wanted to keep going. Keep doing. A couple drummers couldn't make it because of the schedule, kind of thing, and then there are kind of small regrets. Some drummers should have fit in there, but I'm happy what I had, but I want to keep going. I want to do experiment within the Plan D. I can do like a pop version of the Plan D. So, that rhythm plus singer or whatever, so maybe that's going to be 2033 or something,
Volume 12. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Plan D 2. I'm gonna beat Tool. Those
have that
album cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Album cycle in a multi-decade process. Exactly.
Yeah. I used to make fun of them. Olympic band. Every 4 years they release. But now it's more than that. Well, I have
a short turnaround for them now these days.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff going on. They have to go tour. They have to take care of the business side. So they have a pressure. I understand. It's not easy to be that position either.
They're not short order cooks, right? They got other things going on in their lives.
Yeah. So
Toshi, it's always a pleasure, man.
Thanks, Conan. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's a great release, and like I said, I'll throw a link in the show notes. And I think everyone should go check it out.
Yeah, and then let's get busy for your stuff soon.
Yes, Yes, let's do what you just said. Absolutely. I'm there with it. I'm there for it, and I will be there for it. So there you go.
Yeah, next week, huh?
Toshi, take care, man.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Thanks a lot.
And there he goes. Toshi Kasai. What a great dude. I love that guy. I think that record's awesome. I think everyone should check it out. Consider doing it. Let's hear a song from it. Let's hear this is the single, I guess we'll call it, right? Perpetual Manufacturing. And this is solid, so check it out. Gets you some gypsy jazz. Bossa Nova, baby. All right. And also all right. So that was a little bit of Toshi Kasai based on true stories. Perpetual Manufactory. You can get that toshikasai.bandcamp.com. You can get it at Joyful Noise. I think it's like a cassette series. It's like a whole thing. I don't know if they still have copies of that yet, but yeah, check it out. It's a good record. You can find it on other things that are not Bandcamp, all the other services, if that's more your bag. Name of the show is Conan Neutron's Protonic Reversal. Thank you ever so much for listening to it. This show airs usually Thursdays, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 Pacific.
Are we going?
I'll be heading out to Conan, so
This thing on? Test.
that's the
Can you hear me now?
that's the deal with that. And I think that It's gonna be a good tour. I don't know why we're doubling on that. We're just gonna do this. But thanks for joining me on this very special episode. I think that Toshi's a very special guy, and I'm happy to do anything whenever he does it. Plan D is fantastic if you haven't already checked it out. And I think that if you have some time, and if you have an open heart and open mind, I think you can really get something out of this record. It's a good. I call it a Sunday morning record. So that's what it is. Anyway, ProtonicReversal.com for the archives. Always free. No ads. No sponsors. No kidding. If you like the show and you want to get episodes sooner, Patreon.com/ProtonicReversal. We'll achieve that goal. $1 a month. We'll get you there. Maybe someday I'll put up a Venmo or something for people that don't use Patreon. But for right now, that's the way it is. The shows and all the other things. Feel free to like, subscribe, share it around. All that helps people find the show, and so it's just a nice thing to do. Just a nice thing to do. That's how people find it. There's going to be a special episode, I think, of Protonic while I'm gone. But yeah, I'm going to be on the road. So, but there's some amazing stuff coming up for when I'm coming back. So stay tuned. Keep that listening device tuned in.
Ships at sea. Anyone within the sound of my voice.
If you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the show. Protonic.reversal Instagram.
I've got
Protonic Pod on Twitter. Protonic Reversal Show on Facebook.
50,000 watts of power.
You can set it so you can actually get notifications too and see it once in a while rather than just have the appearance of doing it. What else? Yeah, there's some amazing things coming up. I'm not going to say anything about it. I don't know what days they're going to be on, but it'll be, it'll be after about 2.5 weeks. So go see Conan Neutron, The Secret Friends on tour. NeutronFriends.bandcamp.com. And Songkick. Thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Can you hear me now?
Stay safe out there.
Out on Route 128, you're dark and lonely.
Check you later.
You got my radio on. Can you hear me now? 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 See in the radio. And that snare drum and that drum roll means we've got a winner. If you're the fifth caller, or any caller at all, welcome to my top 10. I'd like to thank our sponsor. But we haven't got a sponsor. Not if you were the last man on earth. She was prepared to prove it. This one goes out to a special girl. But there is no special girl. It's the end of radio. The last Is it really broadcasting if there's no one there to receive? It's the end of radio. As we come to the close of our broadcast day, got my radio on. Can you hear me now? This is a test! If this had been a real emergency,